Is there a word in human language capable of conveying the titanic, icy dread and wonder that one feels upon realizing that the sky above is not an emptiness, not just a vacuum sprinkled with distant, indifferent lights, but an ocean, boundless, dark, full of currents, reefs, and visitors? We have grown accustomed to thinking of our home, the solar system, as an impregnable fortress, surrounded by the Oort cloud, that gargantuan spherical bastion of trillions of icy bodies. It seemed to us an isolated, safe island in the galactic archipelago. We listened to the cosmos for decades, aiming our radio telescopes into the abyss, and heard only silence in return. The great silence. And in that silence, we became all but convinced of our own solitude. But what if we were simply looking in the wrong place? What if the answer isn't meant to be heard? What if it's meant to be seen? In 2017, the first confirmed interstellar guest burst into our system. One-eye Oumuamua. Strange, elongated, resembling a cigar or a shard, it moved with an inexplicable non-gravitational acceleration and vanished as suddenly as it appeared, leaving behind more questions than answers. Scientists shrugged. A statistical anomaly. A unique event that we might not see again for 1,000 years. But only 2 years passed, and in 2019, a second one arrived. 2I Borisov. This one was more understandable. A classic comet, simply born around another star. It behaved predictably. It obeyed the laws. And the scientific community breathed a sigh of relief. Oumuamua was the exception that proved the rule. The universe was once again orderly and explainable. Interstellar wanderers are just cosmic rocks, rare and random. And then the third one appeared. The third interstellar object, 3I Atlas. And it was this third guest that shattered everything. It called into question not just our models of interstellar travel. It called into question the very concept of randomness, because the latest data, received and double-checked by specialists at NASA and the European Space Agency, point to something so incredible, so far beyond the pale, that they are almost afraid to speak of it aloud. 3I Atlas came to us from a distance that is impossible. It is even closer than we could have imagined in our most audacious hypotheses. And that changes absolutely everything. Let us return to the fundamentals for a moment. To grasp the scale of what is happening, one must comprehend just how vast the emptiness between the stars is. Our nearest neighbor, Proxima Centauri, is over 4 light-years away. That is roughly 40 trillion kilometers. A journey there at the speed of our fastest probes would take tens of thousands of years. We imagined interstellar objects as messengers from these incredible distances. Debris ejected from other star systems by gravitational perturbations millions, hundreds of millions of years ago. They wandered in darkness for an eternity until their random trajectory, 1 in a billion, happened across ours. Imagine you are standing on the shore of the Pacific Ocean. A wave washes a bottle with a message up to your feet. You open it and read that it was cast from the shores of Japan. It is incredible luck, but it is explainable. The ocean is vast, but currents exist. Oumuamua was such a bottle. Then a wave brings a second one from the Philippines. Strange, but still within the realm of probability. Borisov was the second bottle. But what if the third bottle you find doesn't smell of salt water? What if it's almost dry and the sand on it is still damp? And when you trace its path, you realize it wasn't thrown from another continent, but from a yacht hiding behind a rock, just a couple of kilometers away. A yacht you cannot see. A yacht that shouldn't be there at all. That is what 3I Atlas is. It was discovered by the Atlas system, 4 telescopes whose primary mission is to warn of asteroid impacts. They scan the sky, searching for threats. And in 2019, they found it. A faint speck, at first mistaken for a common comet. It was even given a cometary designation. But the orbital calculations, again and again, they showed the same thing. A hyperbola, an eccentricity greater than 1. This meant the object was not orbiting the sun. It was a guest, an alien, the third one. At first, everything followed a familiar script. Spectral analysis showed it resembled a comet. It had a coma, a cloud of gas and dust, and even a tail. It seemed to be a second Borisov. Boring, predictable, normal. But the devil, as always, is in the details. And in astrophysics, the devil is ballistics, the trajectory, the path the object took to get here. And when the best minds on the planet, using the power of supercomputers, began to trace its path back in time, they hit a wall of incomprehension. Oumuamua's trajectory, though strange, pointed in the general direction of the star Vega, though it didn't align perfectly. Borisov's path led back to the binary system Kruger 60, distant but specific stellar addresses. But the trajectory of 3I Atlas, it led nowhere. More precisely, it led to a point located only a few light months away from us, maybe 1 light year. On a cosmic scale, this is not another city. This is the house next door. And in that house next door, there is nothing. No star, no brown dwarf, not even a clump of dark matter that could have flung it toward us. An absolute ringing emptiness. An object traveling at tens of kilometers per second appeared literally from nowhere, from the interstellar space nearest to us. This is nonsense. It is a violation of everything we know about the dynamics of the galaxy. For an object to be ejected from a star system, it needs immense energy, a powerful gravitational kick. This kick gives it colossal speed. It cannot simply lazily roll out of a neighboring system and drift over to us. And if its source is so close, why can't we see it? The data that shocked everyone concern not only the starting point, they concern the journey itself. Analysis of the dust in its tail, conducted at the very limit of our capabilities, revealed isotopic anomalies. The ratio of isotopes of certain elements, like nitrogen and carbon, did not match the solar system, nor the little data we have on other stars. It was different. Artificial, that is too bold a word, but strange, unnatural. And so we stand before a mystery with no simple solution. And the hypotheses born in the corridors of scientific conferences are each more outlandish than the last. The first hypothesis, the most conservative, the blind spot. We are ignorant of something in our immediate vicinity, perhaps very close by. At a distance of 1 or 2 light years, drifts an invisible object. Not a failed star like a brown dwarf, but something even more exotic. For example, an ancient primordial black hole, the size of an asteroid but with the mass of a planet. Or a whole herd of rogue planets, cast out from their home system billions of years ago and now flying as a single dark group. 3I Atlas could have been knocked out of this invisible entourage by a random collision. This hypothesis explains the proximity of the source, but it opens another Pandora's box. If something like this is lurking right next door, then our entire picture of the world, all of celestial mechanics, is wrong. We are living next to an invisible monster and do not even suspect it. The second hypothesis is disturbing, the shard. What if 3I Atlas is not a standalone object? What if it is a fragment of something larger? In 2020, as it was moving away from the sun, something strange happened. It began to disintegrate. The nucleus broke into several pieces. Astronomers said, well, there you have it. A typical fragile comet that couldn't withstand the sun's heat. It was a comforting explanation. But what if it wasn't a breakup from heat? What if it was a planned separation? Imagine an interstellar probe that upon approaching its target releases sub-probes to explore different parts of the system. It sounds like science fiction. But the object's behavior was odd. It didn't just fall apart. It disintegrated with surprising neatness. The fragments moved apart on predictable trajectories. Some amateur astronomers analyzing the images even claimed to see unnaturally sharp changes in the fragment's brightness, as if something on their surface was turning on and off. Of course, this was dismissed as noise and the rotation of an irregularly shaped body. But the doubt, it lingered. And finally, the third hypothesis, the forbidden one. The one discussed in whispers for fear of sounding insane. The three waves. Let us look at the picture as a whole, not at each object individually, but at the entire sequence. First came Oumuamua, the object enigma. Not a comet, not an asteroid. Defiantly strange. It swept through the system, showing us that interstellar guests could be not what we expect. It was a scout. It tested our reaction, our ability to detect and study it. We turned out to be almost blind. We saw it only as it was leaving, unable to understand much of anything. Second came Borisov, the object of reassurance, a perfect textbook comet. It showed us, don't worry, everything is fine. Oumuamua was just a freak of nature. We, the interstellar wanderers, are exactly as you imagined us. It lulled our vigilance. It made us believe we understood everything. And now, just as we relaxed, the third one arrives. 3i Atlas. And it carries the main message. It comes not from the galactic depths, but from our own doorstep. It tells us, we are not out there, thousands of light years away. We are here, nearby. Its strange isotopic composition hints, we are not like you. Its breakup into pieces demonstrates, our technology is beyond your comprehension. This sequence, it seems too deliberate to be a coincidence. Reconnaissance, lulling into a false sense of security. And finally, a demonstration of presence. This is no longer just astronomy. This resembles a strategy, a first contact that occurs without a single radio signal. Why no radio? Why would they need it? We search for life similar to ourselves. We think that any advanced civilization must go through a radio phase and fill the ether with its noise. This is monstrous anthropocentrism. What if truly advanced civilizations long ago moved on to other forms of communication, inaccessible to us? Gravitational waves, neutrinos, manipulations of dark matter, or most simply and brilliantly, they just send matter. Physical probes, information capsules, automated laboratories. They do not shout into the void, hoping someone will hear. They send letters. And 3i Atlas could be such a letter that we are not yet able to read. The shocking data from NASA is not just a single number. It is the entire body of facts. The trajectory pointing to a void next door. The velocity that doesn't match such a short journey. The chemical composition that deviates from all known samples. And all of this in the third guest in just a few years. The statistical significance of this event has long since crossed the 5 sigma threshold, the gold standard in particle physics after which a discovery is considered proven. With a probability of 99.999%, we cannot explain this as mere coincidence. This means we must accept one of two things. Either our laws of physics and our understanding of the universe's structure are incomplete, or we are not alone, and they are much, much closer than we thought. What does this change for us? For humanity, trapped on its small blue planet? It changes everything. It transforms the great silence from a sign of emptiness into a sign of caution. Perhaps the universe is not silent. Perhaps it is just whispering. And only the most attentive can hear this whisper. Perhaps intelligent life in the galaxy does not build noisy, screaming empires visible from hundreds of light years away. Perhaps it prefers to hide in the shadows, to exist as nomadic fleets, dark systems untethered to stars. It values silence, and only occasionally, very carefully, does it extend a tentacle into an inhabited world to see who is there. 3i Atlas is such a tentacle, and it has touched us. It did no harm. It simply flew past, broke into pieces, and is now hurtling away, back into the same nearby dark void from whence it came. But it left a trace, in our computers, in our minds. It has sown doubt in our exceptionalism and in our security. You know, there is this image, a sentry on the wall of a fortress. He stares out into the dark steppe and sees nothing, night after night, year after year. He is almost certain that there is no one beyond the wall and never will be. And then one day, at dawn, he sees a footprint in the crushed grass, unfamiliar, alien, and then another, and another. And he realizes that while he was sleeping, someone came right up to the wall, very close, and watched him in silence. We are those sentries, and Oumuamua, Borisov, and Atlas are the footprints in the grass. And the most terrifying and thrilling question is no longer, are we alone? The question is different. How long have they been watching us? And what are they waiting for? What do you think of this sequence? A simple coincidence multiplied by our imagination? Or is there something more to it? Share your thoughts below. And if these questions keep you awake at night just as they do me, subscribe. We will search for the answers together.